Frank, did you know that this very episode is episode 30 of the Mr. Movies podcast?
I actually did not know that.
We made it to 30
That's impressive.
in
That's
only
pretty,
like 2 years.
yeah. It's been like a year and a half. Okay, we're not that bad.
Yeah, we started it at the very beginning of 2020.
So what is
So
that? That's at least one per month.
at least,
At
kinda.
least. Yeah, it maps out. It maps out.
Yeah, we'll
Um,
we'll eventually we'll catch up. But anyway,
yeah, yeah.
hello to
We'll come
everyone
we'll
and
be back
welcome.
stronger than ever before.
Well, on that note, let's talk about what we watched half a year ago in April.
April, that was not half April, wait, May, June, July, August. Almost, but not
Yeah.
quite. We're not that
It's
bad.
been a time.
I watched three, four, five, six, seven things.
I got 8.
So that means you get to go first.
Duncan wins. Can I get a Duncan wins in the comments,
Can we get a
everybody?
Duncan wins in the chat?
All right. Well, let's start it off with I think the highlight for me. I
Yeah.
watched The Invisible Man.
Oh yeah. Did I already talk about The Invisible Man? Because I know I
It
watched
is.
it. I don't
This
remember when.
this was a recommendation from you, and I checked it
Okay.
out, and I loved it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I thought I it was incredible. I am not familiar with the source material, like the very old man wrapped in bandages, like I think it was from a
Yeah, no, I'm
comic
not
book or
familiar with it
something.
either. I
But
wasn't that
I
familiar with Elizabeth Moths either.
yeah,
Is it moss or moth?
moss, I believe, like the
Moss.
plant.
Um, I'm a fan after this movie. I didn't know much about. I
Absolutely.
seen her in Us, but that was the only
That's right.
movie. So I
Yeah,
liked her. I think she's a splendid actress.
I thought it was so interesting how like the invisible person, the man who is invisible, is not the
Yeah,
main character.
yeah, I like that.
Sorry.
Oh my
Uh,
God.
um, right, making him the villain, like any villain that is invisible or like you cannot see immediately, like oh, it gets
Yeah.
me. Like
Hmm.
kind of like Jaws, where it's like you can't see the shark, or
Yeah.
like I don't know, Predator. I don't know. There's so many like things that can like go invisible, and I think taking away the visual element is like a huge aspect of horror. So having like any
Yeah.
room suddenly be like this death trap is so that's like visually what a great thing to exist in your movie.
Hmm. No,
Um
I agree. I thought that movie did a really good job of presenting the characters and like establishing them even before we got into the whole Invisible Man thing. I like that we actually
oh
got to
yeah.
like take a moment. I feel like horror movies, one of my biggest issues with them, especially nowadays, is I feel like too the ending. I I feel like the endings always overstay their welcome. Like I feel like there's
Hmm.
like a natural place for the movie to end, and then they just tag on this extra like 10 minutes of just nonsense where like the bad guy comes back. And I like that this movie didn't do that. I felt like it ended at a very organic place.
Absolutely. I thought it was a very natural end to everything that we've seen. It
Yeah.
hit the beginning and middle, and then it stuck the landing for the end.
Hmm.
Great
I,
movie.
I agree.
That
I
scene in the restaurant. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah.
I had to
Yikes.
pause the movie and like
I couldn't
walk
believe
out
that
of the
happened.
room.
That's like one of those things, sometimes when you watch a movie and you're like nothing, you just know like nothing bad can happen in this like scene. That's like
Yeah.
one of those scenes where you feel that way, and then and then they're like, nope.
Yeah, you feel so safe, and then all of a sudden the movie betrays you, and it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
anyway, I would have loved to
Um,
have seen that in a theater.
yeah, I would have too. That was one of those movies that came out right as the Pandy started.
The
So
Pandy.
the
Yeah.
Pandy Express.
Anyway, that's me.
Uh,
I loved that movie.
yeah, it's a good movie. I
Take it away,
watched
Frank.
a movie I didn't like.
Oh, wow.
And I think you watched it during this month too, because it was a new release. I watched Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat. That's on my list. Let's
Oh
talk
my
about it.
God. Can I like spoil like the character through line
Yeah,
for
let's just do a full-on spoiler review for Mortal
Jesus.
Kombat.
This movie didn't even do the bare minimum with the protagonist. Like there's
Right.
no arc. He just kind of gets powers, but like literally before that, every scene is like, oh, he's in a freaking he's in an altercation, but then
Yeah.
someone comes in to save him, and there's no arc, there's no growth with him because he gets the powers, but even then, during the final battle, he's fighting the bad guy, but someone still has to come and help him. This
Yeah, that
movie
sure does
infuriated
happen.
me. The only character I liked was like the guy who turned out to be a bad dude later.
Yeah,
And I
Kano.
was like, I can't stand it. It's not a good movie. It has a really generous score on like Rotten Tomatoes and stuff, and I'm not about it.
Yeah, it's interesting because this is very much a movie about fighting.
I'd like to apologize for that little anger outburst that occurred. I don't
No,
know
no,
what got.
it's warranted.
I've been really sitting on my anger for this movie for a while, and it's just like if you have a chance to make a Hollywood movie, like like it pisses me off. I'm out here dying for that chance, and then
Yeah.
people are out here making Mortal Kombat, and it's just like, and I don't like. Oh, you know, I'm starting to sweat with this podcast. I don't like to bash people in Hollywood for making movies because you know what? That shit's hard and I get it. It's difficult to sit down and write something. But when I feel that you literally put no effort into it, and then I spend my money I didn't spend money in the theater. I watched it on HBO. Oh gosh. I'm infuriated.
All right. Let's say something positive about Mortal Kombat. I thought visually it was impressive.
I thought the violence was really fun.
The violence, oh yeah, how the choreography for the most part, I think was
just I'll be honest, I don't even remember any choreography. I'll be honest, the first like 15 minutes of the movie where it's like the flashback, I thought I was gonna love it. Like I was like, if this is the whole movie, I'm here for it. I thought just like the way like the violence held true to the same way it was with the video games, you know?
Yeah.
It felt very true to that, but I feel like that's all it had going for it.
Have you played any of the video games?
Not avidly. I used to, whenever I would sleep over my buddy's house, we would play it.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever touched it before, but looks better than the movie.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
That's that. Do you want to go again?
I feel like you should go because you still have one more than me.
Oh, that's
right?
true. I watched The King of Staten Island.
Oh, with Peter Davidson.
With David Peterson, yes. Wait,
is his name David Peterson?
No, it's Pete Davidson.
I was genuinely like, wait, am I wrong? Why does that? I feel like it sounds wrong, but
yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by this movie. I thought it was better than the trailers made it look, for sure. I watched this one on a whim, I think. I was just like, I'm so bored with this lockdown. You know, I gotta watch.
Is it worth checking out as we might enter a second lockdown? Do you recommend it?
You know what? If you have like a free evening, I think it's funny. It's
they
definitely
filmed it near my house.
Yeah, it's New York, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how have you ever gone to Staten Island?
No, but I don't think they filmed it in Staten Island. I think they filmed it in Syracuse, which is near me.
How dare they?
Yeah.
It would be so simple to oh.
I feel like at that point, yeah.
Anyway, I mean, the whole point is that Pete Davidson's a loser and he's got to become not a loser.
I feel that. I feel like that's an arc I can relate to.
And I think all of those movies have a difficult task, and that is you really have to make us care about the character in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter what arc they go on if we're not on board from the start, you know? And I feel like this movie does not do enough at the beginning with Pete Davidson. I will say for the middle and end, I was on board with like his arc, but something about that, it just kind of like trips over the starting line. And so for a while, the things that's happening to him, you're just like, all right.
Yeah. My face is so greasy. I got to wipe it down. I apologize. Oh my God.
It's okay. This is an audio podcast.
I'm shining like a disco ball over here.
How hot is it over there?
Oh my God. So can I give the people just a little bit backstory? I
Yeah, of
apologize for
course.
interrupting your review.
I'm basically done. Go
Duncan
on.
and I sat down maybe 3 hours ago to record this podcast. They're working on the electricity poles outside. Oh, they are ruining my lawn. Speaking of which, right now, they're working on the electricity poles, and we were talking. We were about to start recording, and all of a sudden, from outside, I hear, "Damn it!" I Duncan freezes. I look outside, and I see the power cords are just dangling free. I don't think they know what they're doing, and I'm a little scared, but it's okay.
Wow, that I would be nervous about that too.
Yeah. But God bless them. So the King of Staten Island.
Yeah, it's got Bill Burr in it, and like if you like his style of
True.
comedy, then like he's prominent.
That's
It's
good to know.
got the aunt from Spider-Man. What's her name?
Marissa Tomei.
Yeah, and she's great
That's
in
a
it.
nice
But like,
Italian woman.
it's the same thing where it's just like everyone's in love with Marissa Tomei, and it's like we get it.
I feel like that's every movie with
That
Marissa
can't be her
Tomei.
character in
Have
every
you ever seen the
movie.
movie My Cousin Vinny?
No, I haven't. Is
I
she
recommend it.
is the same thing with
It's
her in
it's
it?
her and Joe Pesci.
God damn.
It's pretty entertaining. And a young Ralph Macchio before
Ralph
I think
Macchio
before he became the Karate Kid.
before he starts learning karate.
Before he crane kicked into our hearts.
All right, why don't you go again? What do you got?
I watched. Oh, this was a month of me trying to catch up with Oscar movies.
Oh, that's right.
I watched Ma Rainey's Black Bottom,
Hmm.
which I thought. Have you seen this movie?
I have not seen this yet.
So this was the movie that has Chadwick Boseman's final like live action performance, and first of all, I just want to say he killed it, and I think he should have definitely won the Academy Award. Not even because
Oh,
like he passed. I
right.
haven't seen The Father, so like which did win, which I heard was really good. But from what I've seen, I think he should have won. I felt it was a very like I like very simplistic movies. I like movies that are set in like one location and it's just characters talking.
Yeah.
One of my favorite Tarantino movies is what people consider to be his weakest film, which is The Hateful Eight. That's one of my favorite ones because it's just people in a log cabin talking for 3 hours. I love that stuff. Like as long as the interactions are good and interesting, I'm here for it. And Ma Rainey's Black Bottom is definitely a movie like that. I really thought Viola Davis gave a powerhouse performance as well in this
Yeah.
one. I just think every
She
time she's
always
in
does.
something, it's elevated.
Mhm.
I definitely recommend this movie for people to watch. It's not anything crazy. It didn't like change my life, but it's just a very well made film. And if you believe in the power of cinema, damn it, you need to watch it on Netflix now.
It's on Netflix?
It's a Netflix original, I believe. Yes.
Did that have anything to do with like how it was received at the Oscars? Because I know there was this whole like Netflix thing.
Well, I mean, I definitely want to do that podcast, and I think we can get the episode where we talk about streaming in theaters and stuff. Because I definitely think that plays a role in it, and I think a lot of the movies that I talk about this month, actually, I think all the movies I talk about this month, I watched through streaming, and like one of them was an Oscar movie that was in theaters but got cut short due to the pandy. I'll talk about it though when we get to it. That's gonna be the one I save for last because it was my favorite movie I watched this month.
Yeah, we'll absolutely do that.
Duncan, what did you watch?
Well, what an interesting question. I rewatched Mad Max Fury Road.
Okay.
Again, this was me at the peak of the pandy, and I was like really feeling it. And it's like I need a high octane.
When I watch
action
that movie, I want to take some silver spray paint and just frickin' shoot it in my mouth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't love it.
Oh.
Okay, this was my second time watching it. The first time I watched it, I was absolutely like in the action. I felt like I was in the passenger seat of like all those vehicles.
I watched this movie recently with my mom and she didn't like it.
Maybe your mom and I should talk about this. But like, I don't know. I'm rewatching it now for some reason, all these years later. I found it harder to like completely lose myself in the movie because
I love the simplicity of it though.
I think that's what it is. I think the first time I
I
was
feel like that could
totally
turn people off
accepting.
from it. Yeah.
Right. I feel like this is the kind of movie where like you have to be willing to just accept what happens and like not question anything. And this time rewatching it, I guess I just wasn't in the good headspace for it because the whole time I was just like, why? Who are these people? Like, what are their names? I got Max, Furiosa, and that's it. Like, why are all these dudes bald? Why are they where they get all this
Yeah.
gas if they're fighting over gas? I don't know. I guess I walked away from this movie with questions. I don't know why that didn't happen the first time, but I guess that's on me for not turning my brain off and just watching the
I
car
think they're making
explosion
like
movie.
a prequel to it.
I hate I hate movies that come out and don't explain anything, and then they're like, "Well, don't worry, there's a prequel coming out in 7 years that'll make all of this clear up."
I mean, have you seen
Man,
any of the other Mad Max movies?
no, maybe that's
I
also
haven't
part of
either.
it.
So I feel like maybe that might be part of the
Maybe
problem.
they explain it, and then you're just supposed to have that knowledge going in. But
Yeah.
since it's a reboot, I thought they would like explain it.
Well, it's
Whatever.
like it's more of a sequel, isn't it? I don't know.
I guess it's a sequel with just the main character recast.
Yeah. Would you have
Whatever.
liked to see Mel Gibson reprise the role?
No, I don't think that man deserves any work, if I'm being honest.
Uh,
What with the whole thing he did.
yeah.
Anywho, take it away, Frank. What did you watch?
Alrighty. I watched a movie that was well, let's just get into it. It was a controversial, and I'll
Wait,
be,
hold on. A movie was controversial?
there was a controversy behind it,
That doesn't sound right at all.
and I don't remember what the controversy was about. I didn't get that there was a controversy while I was while watching the movie. I didn't feel like this is a movie where I feel like there should be a controversy.
Uh-huh.
I watched the Ron Howard film that came out for the Oscars, the Hillbilly Elegy thing. Do you know
Oh,
what the controversy was?
let me look it
Because I
up.
watched the movie and I didn't feel there was anything
Hill,
controversial.
Billy, Elegy.
I thought Glenn Close gave a phenomenal performance. I thought I can't remember if she won or not. I don't think she did.
God damn it. IndieWire said, ugh, I don't want to look at this advertisement. Although it's the Handmaiden's Tale, so it's Elizabeth Moss.
Look at that. We're circling back.
Full square. All
Full
right.
square.
Just send me to the article, you stupid ass. Oh, here we are. At worst, critics said that Vance's story was rife with racist and sexist ideology, a reliance on easily dispelled fallacies, and a resistance to blaming any of it on government and culture.
I could see part of that. I don't get the whole not blaming government thing, 'cause that's not really what the story's about.
Right.
I mean, I think they could have worked it in there, but I think it would have taken away from what the story was about.
Yeah. I mean, from what little I know, that there's nothing wrong with that. Like focusing
Yeah.
on the story.
Because it's basically about, I don't really view it about like, oh, just hit my funny bone. I kind of viewed it about a kid who was like
I was still
raised
looking at the
sun.
article. I hadn't switched back to Zoom yet. And I just hear you go, oh! Oh.
I felt the movie was just about a kid, and it was about him trying to escape his home life and build a better future himself. So I can kind of see how they could have maybe included a government aspect into it, but I don't think it was necessary for the story the film was telling. I don't know. I thought the movie was good. I didn't think it was anything too crazy or special. I thought Glenn Close gave a pretty good performance. It didn't strike me as a movie I want to rewatch, but now I kind of want to look into the controversy and rewatch it and see if it changes the way I feel about it.
That is interesting how like controversies will like enhance or just like
Yeah,
adapt to,
because
to how you
I
view the
didn't
movie.
feel any of that, but I could see how maybe I could on a second viewing.
Interesting.
So I'm curious to go back. Duncan, what did you watch?
I watched a movie called Bubba Hotep. This is a very ridiculous movie. And before you ask, yes, my grandpa made me watch it.
Yes! Yes.
So this
Our
movie,
favorite quote at the Mr. Movies podcast.
this movie is based on the
We need a sound to. We need like a soundboard,
a
and we need something.
soundboard.
We need like some
Yeah,
sort of air horn celebration when it's my grandpa made me watch.
we'll work on that. We'll send it to the lab and come up with
Okay.
something. So this movie is based on the conspiracy theory that Elvis is alive
Okay.
and he just swapped places with a Elvis impersonator. In this movie, Elvis is like, I'm tired of this life of the show tunes. I want to take
It's
a
a
step
phenomenal
back.
Elvis impression.
Thank you. So
You
he
should
like
go on the road with
he finds the best impersonator, uses him.
Yeah.
And so that's the Elvis that goes on and dies. Where the real Elvis
Oh.
grows old. And this movie is about him in a retirement home.
Uh-huh.
And he keeps saying like, you guys got to treat me better, I'm Elvis. And then no one believes him because like the real Elvis, like to them, died on the toilet and all that. So this movie is about him in a retirement home, but the movie is about a mummy that breaks into the retirement home and starts eating the old people. So it's about Elvis versus a mummy. It's so ridiculous.
What year did this come out?
I gotta figure that out.
I'm like curious because usually the movies your grandpa makes you watch is like Crocodile Dundee, but this seems pretty odd.
Okay, so it's a horror comedy from 2002.
Okay.
I don't know. Movies about old people also, because all the jokes are like, my hip gave out. And it's like, come on. The seventh time you use it. It's just like,
yeah.
Anyway, that was that. Can't really recommend it. Take it away, Frank.
I watched Regina King's directorial debut on Amazon Prime, The One Night in Miami.
Yeah.
Have you seen this movie?
I haven't.
Again, another movie where it's just focused on characters in one location. Needless to say, I really enjoyed it. I thought this movie was like a really cool like what if story. Oh gosh, we just accidentally plugged Marvel.
Oh no, they got us.
I just thought it was a really cool like, like what if I always love stories that like play with history and alter it and say, what if we like made these little changes? What if this happened? So that where are we now? I've become a very big Regina King fan in the past few weeks.
No kidding.
I just watched HBO's Watchmen, which we'll talk about in the August review, which holy shit, do I have stuff to say because I was blown away. But I just think she's a talent to be reckoned with. I honestly like I hope to meet her one of these days. Like I think she's phenomenal. I think she's just like this incredible like artist, and just seeing like her work on display here for someone who's first time directing, like I'm excited to see what comes next.
That's so cool.
I really enjoyed this movie. My dad really enjoyed this. My dad watched this movie I think like 3 times. He really liked it. And like my dad's not the kind of person to rewatch a movie. We were both just like really invested in it, and I highly recommend it's on Amazon Prime. I highly recommend giving it a watch. It's One Night in Miami.
One night. That's the perfect amount of time to spend in Miami.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Was that mean?
No. I think one night is very generous for Miami.
No offense to anyone who may or may not live in Miami.
Oh my God.
My grandpa made me watch this movie. I watched Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh my God, that's a classic. I've never seen it, but I've heard it's a classic.
I was about to ask, why do you like this movie? but if
I'm gonna add it to my watch list.
It's your loss, man. I hate I don't hate this movie, but I hate the type of movie this movie is.
It's a very like from what I know about it, it's a very
it's the whole coming of age story. It's like multiple perspectives from like this high school body. And like it's just like, oh, the jock is having a hard time getting the girl. and this nerd's having a hard time getting the girl, and this stoner's having a hard time connecting with his teacher. But like the whole movie's about like all these underage characters getting naked and then just showing everything, and it's like, cool, did not need that.
Uh-huh.
And it's all about like just movies where like they're not minors, they're clearly like played by adults, but they're portraying minors, and they're
Yeah.
like full frontal, like not just top half but bottom half, and it's just
Yeah.
like hi, and it's just like mm. I mean, it's a movie about like sex, so I get it, you kind of have to show that, but at the same time you could have just not, and like done it,
Yeah.
you could have done it creatively and like still had the
I'm not
message
like a
delivered.
big fan of nudity in film.
Yeah, I mean it really does have to be, I almost said tasteful, it really does have to be like specific and intentional,
Yeah.
not just for the sake of nudity.
Yeah.
And
Even
God,
just when
this
I see it in
movie,
general, even if it like adds to the story, just because I know the behind the scenes process, I'm just like,
right? It's like, all right, talent number 3, it's your turn to get naked. It's
yeah,
like, oh.
I don't
Anyway,
know.
this movie's about like teenagers and like figuring out life, but because life back then is so different from life right now, the whole thing just kind of felt like a waste of time, because it's just like,
Uh,
oh. Anyway, that's all. Watch it if you dare. Your turn, Frank.
I watched a comic book movie.
No kidding. I didn't know they made those anymore.
Yeah, they're few and far, but I watched the final installment in Fox's X-Men franchise, which is The New Mutants.
Oh, wow. Tell me what you thought of that.
Is that I feel you've seen that movie, right?
Yes, that's in my May. I think I watched it in May, but
Okay.
I'll take it off and we can talk about it now.
So The New Mutants, I will be honest, the reviews for this movie are really bad. So
Yes.
I wasn't expecting much. And like I understand it's a bad movie, but I didn't hate it.
Yeah, it's way better than reported.
Yeah.
What did you think about Demon Bear?
Oh, that was a little weird. I
Yeah.
felt I is that like culturally accurate? It can't be.
Culturally?
No, it's not.
Are you asking me if there is like a native myth about a giant bear?
Well, that I would like that I could buy, but like I just feel like the way they went about it, I was like, this feels a little
I think that
off.
was part of the controversy. It's how they tried to be inclusive, but like they borrowed too much from different things without doing enough research.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but
Oh, I also felt like the relationships in this. I feel like all the kids just had to like hook up for the sake of it. I
yeah,
felt that was a little forced. Um, yeah, that's fair. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate myself for watching it.
there you go. I can't wait to see them all return in the New Mutants 2 coming to
Electric
theaters this
Boogaloo.
2029.
Um, no, it's gonna be scheduled for 2024, but it's not gonna come out until 2020.
Exactly. They know their
That's
style.
another thing. They were supposed to do reshoots for this movie, and then they never did because the pandy hit.
Right.
And like, I don't know what that was a weird release
I wonder
thing.
what they were going to reshoot.
That's what I'm curious. I think they wanted to redo the ending.
They were going to take out the giant bear?
I think so.
Oh my God, those bastards. Glad they couldn't get the chance.
Um, I watched an Oscar movie.
Another one. Wow.
Another one. The last two I have are both Oscar movies, so get ready.
I am
Um,
ready.
I watched on Amazon Prime The Sound of Metal.
Oh my God.
Have you seen this movie?
Yes.
Dude, I love this. I thought this movie was so good.
Sound of Metal. I must not have like added that to my list.
Oh my gosh, I had a little burp. I apologize.
No worries.
Another talk about Sound of Metal real quick.
I think this movie, I think for me, because of course I watched it from like an editing standpoint, this movie was incredible with its
The
sound design.
is phenomenal.
Oh, like
And like,
I don't watch movies for the sound design, but this one like
yeah,
knocked it out of
this
the
is a
park.
movie that really makes you think like, oh my God, like what if I like right, I want to be a filmmaker. What if I lost my sight?
Yeah.
It's done.
Like how
Like,
just
what do I
losing
do?
one sense just like disrupts the whole because like this guy's a musician. Like the whole
He
point
can't
is that he
hear.
can hear. And then when he loses that, it's just
It's so heartbreaking too when he tries to get go to his shows and stuff, and he's trying to play and he's doing terrible, and it's just
oh, I
like
hated it when he like finally gets the hearing aids. Like he works so hard to get them, and
I
then
know.
they're not good. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Uh-huh.
This movie is not one to watch to make you like feel great. I
Oh, it's
will
not a
say.
feel good movie.
Even
Yeah.
the ending, right, where he's like accepting of silence, it's still kind of a loss because like it's kind of hard to lose your hearing and consider it a win
Mhm.
in any way. So this movie is about accepting loss, not overcoming it,
Yeah.
which is
No, I
hard.
yeah, it's definitely an intense movie. Don't watch it with the kids.
Nope.
Um, it's depressing, but I think it talks about life in a very interesting way,
Yes,
which I think
that
is
is
important
absolutely
as
true.
well.
All right.
What
How
did
many do
you
you have
watch,
left?
Duncan? I got one left, and it's my favorite Oscar movie.
I have one left too. I watched Shiva Baby. Have you heard of this?
What is it?
Shiva Baby.
I've never heard of this.
So the title Shiva is like the Jewish tradition where like people come together, and I think it's for mourning a loss. Okay, Shiva is a week-long mourning period in Judaism for first-degree relatives. So it's basically like a family reunion, but for like
Everyone's
mourning.
sad.
Right.
Yeah.
So this movie is about a college girl who is sleeping with people for money. Like she is a sugar baby.
Hmm.
And then at the Shiva, she runs into her sugar daddy. And he has his family there because like they're a friend of her family.
Okay.
So it's a family reunion, except the man who pays you for sex is there as well.
Uh,
And the whole movie is this high anxiety. It feels like a horror movie because like she's trying to navigate her relatives and like old relationships in the same tightly packed room. It's an indie
yeah.
movie. It's like a first directorial debut from like whoever made it. Um, but it was very interesting, very hard to watch, but overall a very good movie, and I liked it.
That's good. That
And if
sounds very
anything, it taught me to never ever have sex for money. So walk away with that moral, I guess.
well. I'm happy you've acquired that lesson.
Thank you, Frank. This is big for me. Why don't you take us home? What's
You'll
the
never do
last
it
movie you
again.
watched?
Uh,
Yeah, from now, starting now.
starting now. I watched my favorite movie of this month and my favorite Oscar movie of the 2020-2021 season.
Damn.
I watched Promising Young Woman.
Ooh,
Have you seen this movie?
not yet.
Oh my God, Duncan. I
Uh-huh.
absolutely, this is like a Duncan Kastner movie. Like, I
Is it
feel like this is
really?
like good. I think it's a good Duncan Kastner movie. I think you would
Ooh,
really enjoy it.
I want to hear about
This
it.
movie is, do you know the premise of this movie?
Yes, you can talk about everything except the ending. I have not
Okay.
managed to have that spoiled yet.
So essentially the plot of this movie, I'm not going to spoil because I really want you to watch. Like, this is a movie like you need. I think everybody in America needs to watch this movie, except for children.
Okay.
So essentially it's about this lady and she goes to bars and she pretends to be drunk. Then when guys like try to take her home and take advantage of her, like she reveals she isn't drunk and is like, what are you doing? And then they have to explain. She's basically just trying to scare him out of ever doing it again. But like this movie has some twists and turns. It's dark. And like I watched this with my dad, which is not a movie you should watch with family members. Um,
Uh-huh.
because we were both like, this is kind of messed up because
Oh, I bet.
she goes about doing things, getting justice in a not so great way. But
Mm-hmm.
the when the ending hits and kind of all the puzzle pieces come together, you kind of realize what's been happening. And it's just such a good movie. And I think the ending is one that like has been stuck with me. And like the biggest compliment I can give a movie. I was thinking about it for like the next half week afterward. Like my brain
Wow.
just kept going and going about this movie.
That is
Um,
cool.
that's all I can say.
Oh God, I really want to watch it. Whenever I do, then we'll like have a real discussion about it. But like,
Mhm.
whew, I've just heard so much about that.
Yeah, no, it's really good. It's
I keep hearing
really,
that it's just phenomenal.
I think it's one of those movies where like I wish I could have seen it in the theater.
Oh yeah,
But
but you
I
can't
just
because
watch
of
it. Just
the
watch it.
yeah.
That's all I got to say.
Well,
Thanks for
thank you
watching. We're
all.
sorry about the delay.
Yeah,
Um,
no worries. We'll keep chugging along.
we will, like the little train who could.
Yeah.
Um, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.